Hitmonlee, looking to close. Lord Everything still has one Protect Shield remaining. He is going to invest it here. We're now at the back-to-back charge moves. The first close combat will be returning Umbreon to their Pokeball. Skarmory is super healthy, and in case Skarmory didn't know, they're about to find out. Hitmonlee hits like an absolute truck. So, welcome back to the home of Shadow Pokemon. Today, or yesterday, depending when you're watching this video, we did have the Catch Mastery event, which did see Hitmonlee and Hitmonchan spawning in the wild. Most people from the PvP community probably weren't all that excited about that. Well, today you're about to find out the phenomenal closing power of Shadow Hitmonlee. Lord Everything has submitted some insanely spicy battles, running triple shadows. We've got Shadow Sandslash in the lead. We've got Shadow Machamp operating as the save switch and Shadow Hitmonlee as the closer. Without any further ado, let's get into the battles. And in game one, we'll lead Sandslash into Wallface. You love to see it. The opponent pivots out into Venusaur, and suddenly we're not all that smug. We've got no response for this Venusaur. Lord Everything attempts his luck, trying to nuke Venusaur with the Earthquake. The opponent correctly shielded up. We're now baiting with the Night Slash, and Venusaur commits. Both Protect Shield. Sandslash gets the boost, now firing off. One more Night Slash and that does massive damage. Venusaur now deep in the red. Lord Everything can send out his Machamp, shield up the Frenzy Plant, commit to the counter farm down, which he gets. We've got residual energy, good to go. The opponent sends back out Wallface, and this brick wall is about to come crashing down as Machamp rocks it with the cross shot. We commit to the counter farm down. The opponent has Scrafty in the back, and as they've got their hands holding their trousers, they can't protect themselves from the cross shot, and Machamp absolutely obliterates them, and we take that game. Moving on to the next one. We see Sandslash into Umbreon. We pivot out into Machamp, and the opponent makes a very, very slow switch into Knockdown. And Machamp is now primed to regain switch advantage. The opponent shielded up the rock side, however these counters are ripping apart the Knockdown. The counter damage is keeping pace with the wing attacks. We shield up the sky attack. Lord Everything over farms, fires off rock slide. Number 2, the opponent desperately fighting for switch. They shield up the second rock slide. However, as they switched, like an absolute potato, Machamp makes one final cross chop, and cross chop is enough to take switch advantage. Machamp has regained switch and gained shield advantage. We can now realign our Pokemon. Lord Everything sends out Hitmonlee. We shield up what could be a potential Psychic, however the opponent is running Last Resort. This does mean Lord Everything doesn't have to fire off the close combat. We can tank a Last Resort, but ouch, that hurt. The opponent has Metachan in the back, and things are now looking pretty dicey. We fire off the resisted Stone Edge, pivot out into Sandslash, and Sandslash is about to eat an Ice Punch to the face. Ice Punch doesn't get same type attack bonus, but still does massive damage. Lord Everything doesn't commit to the Earthquake. We are firing off the Night Slash. Night Slash lands for decent damage. We make Night Slash number 2, which is going to knock out as we took even more counter damage. This is probably even better as one Snarl takes us out. The Umbreon was dry, and Hitmonlee manages to double kick down and take that game. Moving on to the next one. We see a matchup that you probably would expect to see in Kanto Cup. Kanto Sandslash into Kanto Muck. However, this is the Open Great League. We build up to the Earthquake and bait with a Night Slash. Muck shits its pants, putting up a Protect Shield, and Lord Everything is going to shield up a potential Dark Pulse, and the opponent full sends the Dark Pulse. They then pivot out into Vigoroth, and we answer with Machamp. We put up a Protect Shield, and the opponent is running Brick Break. I think if you're going to run Vigoroth, you do want to definitely run Body Slam. However, these are the early ranks. Machamp throws the cross chop on CMP. If this is a Body Slam, this will come close to knocking out. It's just another Brick Break. Machamp shrugs it off. We commit to the counter farm down. Lord Everything recognising he won't reach the rock slides. We do throw the resisted cross chop for some chip damage. We then send back out Sandslash. We go straight for the Night Slash. Night Slash probably not enough to knock out. If we ever stop unlagging, we'll find out. It doesn't knock out, so we snipe with a double kick. Hitmonlee, only with nukes, 4 charge move, has a running start on energy. What is that final Pokemon? It's a wish cash. It looks like the opponent has fully lagged out. However, you're about to find out. Hitmonlee would have took this game anyway, as close combat is going to absolutely rock. Wish Daddy cashed their left deep in the red, and 2 more double kicks was enough to knock out. Moving on to the next one. We see Sandslash into Umbreon, 2 better responses. In the back, so we pivot out into Shadow Machamp, and the opponent answers with Tentacle. Lord Everything goes straight for the rock side, and rock side lands, which gets Tentacle down below 50% HP. Machamp now looking prime to regain switch. The opponent sends the skulls, so they don't debuff our defense. Machamp manages to counter farm down, aided by some lag, and it's a Skarmory in the back. Machamp now going for 1 more rock slide. The opponent puts up a shield. The opponent misses another fast move, which allows Machamp to get to 1 more cross chop. The opponent now double shielding Skarmory. They then commit to the air slash farm down. Lord Everything sends out Sandslash as a damage sponge. The opponent fires off a sky attack before they even reach the energy for a Brave Bird, to an easy no shield for Lord Everything. He now pivots out into Hitmonlee. The opponent doesn't even build up to a last resort or a psychic. The opponent again is going to fire on 4, but Lord Everything can safely shield this up. We're now at the back-to-back charge moves. The first close combat is going to return Umbreon to its Pokeball. When Skarmory does return, they are super healthy. They only take neutral from fighting, but they're about to find out the power of Hitmonlee, which hits like an absolute trot, and they get 1 shot. Moving on to the next one. We see Altaria in the lead. A bit of a core breaker is due to the Dragon flying type, and they resist Mud Shot, counter and double kicks. The only thing we can do is try and spam out some charge moves, but luckily for us, Sandslash is pretty spammy. The opponent didn't shield the first Night Slash. Sandslash fires off Night Slash number 2. Altaria does fire off a charge move just before the 3rd Night Slash. We commit a Protect Shield, and the opponent full sends a Dragon Pulse. Holy crap, that was overkill if I ever see it. We then fire off a Night Slash, pivot out into Machamp, get the snipe with the counter farm down. And the opponent sends out a Raichu in a very silly hat. They shield up the cross chop. They are going to outpace us to a Thunder Punch. Lord Everything going to allow his Machamp to go down. We can now bring back in Sandslash. We do resist the Volt Switches, so we are going to be able to make 1 Night Slash. Raichu, super glassy Night Slash, draws the final Protect Shield. We now pivot out into Hitmonlee. Hitmonlee looking to close. We are going to shield up the next Thunder Punch, commit to the double kick farm down. The opponent's final Pokemon is a Wish Cash running Water Gun. Water Gun, not really the moveset you are looking for, but either way, Hitmonlee lands the close combat, double kicks down and takes another dub. Moving on to the next one. We pick up a great lead. Kanto Sandslash into Stunfisk, aka the Bear Trap. All 3 of our Pokemon pretty good. Against Stunfisk, we build up to an Earthquake and bait with a Night Slash. Lord Everything shields up a potential Earthquake, and the opponent is not baiting, they full send it. We build up to another Earthquake. Lord Everything goes for another bait, and they catch the Night Slash on the mighty Blue Mouse. Azumarill, huge core breaker for this team, so Lord Everything stays in, fires off the Earthquake. Azumarill doesn't shield, and Earthquake lands for massive damage. Again, we pivot into Machamp, and Machamp is going to be able to muscle its way through this shiny Azumarill. We shield up the Play Rough, commit to the resisted counter farm down. That final Pokemon is Ferrothorn. Machamp looking primed to sweep. We fire off the first cross chop. This draws a Protect Shield from the opponent. We fire off 1 more counter and the next cross chop. This should be enough to knock out, but no, they hang on 1 HP and a Dream, and we're now in big trouble. Power Whip takes us out. Lord Everything sends out Hitmonlee. The opponent didn't allow us to double kick down the Ferrothorn. This is going to be an Earthquake. Hitmonlee gets 1 shot. Sandslash now needs to make the Earthquake against this Stunfisk, but Lord Everything doesn't commit. I don't think Night Slash is going to cut it. The opponent does survive on minimal HP. They do make an Earthquake, and the opponent pulls off a very impressive dub. Very well played to the opponent. Moving on to the next battle, we see Altaria in the lead. We managed to beat the last one. Let's see if Lord Everything can pull off some more magic, beating the core breaker. We fire off the first Night Slash and we get the boost. You absolutely love to see it. Lord Everything is going to shield up this sky attack. Night Slash probably still won't KO. even with a boost, but at least it is going to do some respectable chip damage. Altaria chooses to shield. Unfortunately, we don't get a double boost, but Lord Everything makes the third Night Slash. The third Night Slash gets some low. We pivot out into Machamp looking for the snipe. We don't snipe, so Lord Everything is forced to commit his final Protect Shield. We do get the full counter farm down. The opponent now sends out the Bear Trap into a loaded Machamp. They must be double steal. The first cross shot will be drawing the final Protect Shield from the opponent, Lord Everything, at the back-to-back. This second cross shot is going to do massive damage. I believe this is just a Rock Slide. I don't think Rock Slide will knock out. We do survive. We do manage to counter farm them all the way down. Show me a Registeel. It's not a Registeel, but it's actually a Wallface, aka Bastiodon, and it's going to be hi Bastiodon, bye Bastiodon, get fucking wrecked. Close combat, more than enough to one shot. Moving on to the next one. All flies are pretty bad for this team, but the Flying Toilet is by far the worst. Lord Everything fires off the Night Slash. Night Slash goes unshielded, however, due to Sandslash's ground typing, Water Weather Ball will hit for super effective. Lord Everything shields it up. He then continues to overfarm and he's now invested both Protect Shields. We can now overfarm, fire off a Night Slash. Night Slash won't be lethal, but I imagine the opponent realises we're super weak, so they do shield it up. Sandslash fires off. One more Night Slash. Is the opponent going to go all shields down? They are not. Pelipper fires off the Weather Ball on low HP. Weather Ball definitely enough to knock out Sandslash. We can now come in to Machamp, get the resisted counter farm down. What does the opponent have in the back? They send out Ferrothorns. They must be weak to fighting. Machamp fires off the cross shot. This should be pressuring the final shield from the opponent. However, they are going to outpace to the Power Whip, and Machamp is about to get nuked. Power Whip takes us out as Hitmonlee versus the world. We are going to be able to fire off the close combat on CMP. Close combat will be one-shotting Ferrothorn. What is that final Pokemon? It's another double steal team. The opponent fires off the Rock Slide. We've got a lowered defense. Come on, Hitmonlee, please survive. We do survive. We make the close combat, and who was worried? Hitmonlee says, I've got you, team, and we take a very impressive dub. Great lead in the next battle. Sandslash really dominant against Marowak as our fast move and both our charge moves hit for super effective. Lord Everything goes straight for the Night Slash. The opponent farms up to a Bone Club, pivot out into a Azumarill. Azumarill again, a bit of a core break, however, as they're already down one shield. Lord Everything gets the opportunity to fire off an Earthquake, and Earthquake lands for massive damage. We now pivot out into Machamp, and Machamp is going to do what Shadow Machamp does best and look to resisted counter farm down, but Azumarill makes an Ice Beam on low HP. Lord Everything chooses to commit his final Protect Shield. We do get the resisted counter farm down. Back out comes Marowak. They fire off the Bone Club. Bone Club not enough to take us out. The squishy Shadow Machamp actually survives that pretty well. We fire off the Rock Slide. Rock Slide does massive damage. We get the resisted counter farm down. The opponent's final Pokemon is a Kanto Raichu. Cross Chop draws the final Protect Shield. Sandslash normally a great answer for Raichu, but we are super low. So we come in, throw 2 Mud Shots, and stay in school, kids. Learn to count. We sack the Hitmonlee on the Brick Break. This Raichu is going to be forced to throw more energy or get rocked with a nuke. They full send the Wild Charge, and this game is now absolutely over. Wild Charge lowers their defense. This Night Slash is going to be more than enough to knock out. GG's, and thanks for playing. Moving on to the next one. We see Sandslash into Galvantula. Great lead for us. They can hit us for neutral with lunge, however we do resist the Volt switches. The opponent actually fires off a Cross Poison. Cross Poison, definitely not the move you are looking for, as ground does resist poison. We fire off the first Night Slash. Galvantula doesn't shield, so we fire off the second Night Slash. It looks like the opponent is just willing to sack the Galvantula. They send out Scrafty, so we pivot into Machamp, and it's Jellicent in the back. Machamp fires off the Rock Slide. Jellicent does shield. Machamp not willing to shield anything. The opponent goes for the Bubble Beam. Bubble Beam does lower our attack. We make one more rock slide, but as we are debuffed, this definitely won't knock out, so Jellicent does tank it. On the chin, they now commit to the bubble farm down. We send back out Sandslash. We've still got 2 protect shields remaining, so we are going to shield up another bubble beam. This opponent loves the debuff. Sandslash fires off the Night Slash. Night Slash is debuffed. It still knocks out. We pivot out into Hitmonlee at some fighter. On fighter action, the opponent fires off the power up punch. Hitmonlee shrugs it off. Scrafty ramping up their attack, so we are going to have to shield up the next power up punch. Lord Everything throws one more double kick, and the close combat will be lowering our defense, but it does force the final protect shield. Scrafty counters down. Can we make the Night Slash? Yes, we can. Night Slash is resisted, but this fighter with its trousers hanging down is very low, and Night Slash is enough to take that game. So a huge thank you to Lord Everything for the incredible battle submission. I have featured Lord Everything numerous times in the past, and he's always bringing some incredible content, so a huge thank you to him. So if you did play today's Catch Mastery event and you've got a good Shadow Hitmonlee in your storage, perhaps dust it off, give it a go. You can see from today's video that it's got huge closing potential. So if you're enjoying the content, smash that like button. If you're new, consider subscribing. If you'd like your battles featured on the channel, a link to my battle submission form is down below. I'd just like to say thanks for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.